So I don't follow Andrew Tate on Twitter, but due to his, of course, extreme popularity and him being a blue check mark, I do still see his tweets come across my primary feed, not the for you, but the primary one, which is the more exciting one because I really don't follow that many people because I don't want my algorithm to be bogged down with a bunch of random things. Usually keep my Twitter political, little splash of hip hop news, some DJ academics and stuff, but I keep it pretty tight. I don't want a bunch of random things on my Twitter. But I bring this up to say that every so often I come across an Andrew Tate tweet where he gives an anecdote about stories of his upbringing, primarily lessons that he learned from his father. And oftentimes the moral of these stories is my dad protected me from my crazy mother trying to make me weaker by thinking that she was caring for me and always calling him crazy for trying to push me to be stronger. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of the stories are decent and relatively inspirational. I'll give him that. When I read the stories about him with his father, it makes me feel happy to see somebody develop and pull these kinds of lessons and information from those kind of life situations, no matter how long it takes, in his 30s, maybe 40s, I don't know how old he is, reflecting on these situations that he went through. I respect that. But I think it shows a major flaw in his philosophy, or at least it shows where he has a soft spot of hypocrisy for his own father. Because Andrew Tate tells people that who you choose to lay with as a man, specifically a high value man, is very important. Being selective with who you have sex with, first of all, especially choose to create life with, and just the women that you deal with in general. So it begs the question, why does your father get a pass? In all of the story, and maybe he's addressed this before and I missed it, but in all the stories that I've seen him post about his father, he always talks about him as this figure who always knew what was best, who always knew to be strong. But one thing was he was poor. Why was that? We don't have to get into all that. But number two, you talk about, and he talks about how crazy your mother is. Why did he lay with her and make a child? I think the answer is obvious. It wasn't the best choice. He didn't make it with his brain. He made it with his heart and emotions, potentially, most likely. Or maybe he just was looking for something to have sex with. Who knows? The point of this story is not to insult Andrew Tate, his father, or his mother. But I am going to ask, is it because of these stories and his opinions of his mother that he tells young men the things that he does? Potentially. I am, and this is not to sit here and say, oh, Andrew Tate has mommy issues. Whether he does or doesn't, I'm not the type of person to care about whether somebody has mommy or daddy issues. I don't think that's funny. I have mommy issues of my own. Me and my mom have not had a good relationship until just recently, and that is after years of repair and things like that. So and it's not even just because I personally went through that I have that I have understanding for that. I just don't care. Like, people come up in terrible upbringings, and then people make fun of them for not liking their parents for how they were raised. And sometimes it's not valid, But my whole point is I don't care. I'm not going to look through your life and try and determine whether it's valid for you to be upset with your parents or not, or how that affects you. It is what it is. But for Andrew Tate to sit here and talk so much trash about weak men and the women they choose to be with, people like Destiny and his cuck girlfriend and stuff like that, your parents weren't even together. I'm talking to Andrew Tate. Your parents weren't together. You think that your mom was just not having sex with other people while your dad was being a poor chess player? Well, like, your mom was probably getting smashed out by all kind of men who had all kind of money. You probably seen that. And that probably spoke out to you more than seeing your broke ass daddy walk, going all over the country playing chess, hustling people in parks and stuff like that for a few dollars so that you guys could stay at the next motel. He tells this story himself, so I'm not just pulling this from nowhere. These are literally from stories that Andrew Tate has somehow decided to tell us on Twitter, I guess, because he thinks it's going to empower us or strengthen us into be misogynist towards women as well. I'm naturally misogynist towards women. I don't need any inspiration in that regard. Can't stand them. Now, I'm obviously being facetious here, or am I? I don't know. Point is, outwardly expressing these sentiments to the degree that Andrew Tate doesn't sit well with the juxtaposition of the way that you treat your father. Your father, his father, was the type of dude that he makes fun of all the time. And you think that just because he was your broke ass daddy, that made him strong, that he was teaching you these lessons. That's funny to me. He told, your lunchbox and the bullies and everything like that, and how he had to protect you from your mom because she never knew what was right for a young man. Why did he make a child with her? Why did he make you with her? And if he made your brother with her too, why did he make your brother too? And where was your brother in all of these stories? In all these stories, it was always just you and your dad traveling the hillside with a stick and a bandana tied over your shoulder and just the supplies that you could carry in your pockets and $500, and you always made sure to tip at least $300 of those dollars to the Denny's waitress. Like, what kind of, I know that I'm talking a lot of shit here, but it's just really ironic to me to hear a dude talk about and describe such a loser of a human, for lack of a better term. And I'm very big on stoicism, Epictetus, be a loser if the need be. Like I said, I think that a lot of the lessons that Tate's father taught him were practical and pragmatic, but they were also because he was a broke ass man who made the wrong choice of who he created life with. So let's keep that in scope when we hear Andrew Tate talking about his opinions on men and women and relationships, all right? Understand that this dude does not have the same heat energy for his dad. He thinks his dad is some wonderful human who taught him how to be a true man, but wasn't really doing the things that Andrew Tate claims that he believes in himself. Just food for thought.